So hello everyone and I welcome you to Astro by Himanshu. So today we'll be having a podcast with Mr. Gagandeep Reehal. If I tell you about him, so he's a deep tech engineer, AI researcher, author, and a technology entrepreneur. Presently involved in multiple projects related to applied artificial intelligence, product design, and interdisciplinary research, particularly in the domain of cognitive and human-centered AI, autonomous vehicles, robotics, and high-performance computing. Having just been 16 years old when he penned down his first book, he has been writing ever since. He has already two book publications to his credit, with numerous works have been appearing in various magazines and journals. He has mentored and judged 65 plus developer hacking events worldwide, spoken at leading conferences, and is currently incubating his startup Minus Zero, working on self-driving cars and cognitive humanoids in India. He is presently a sophomore at Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology in Computer Science branch. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Gagandeep Reehal, for joining us today. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So we can just start with your introduction and about your startup Minus Zero.
Yeah, great. So, hello guys. Basically, I'm Gagandeep Reehal. I am a deep tech engineer and a researcher. I've been into the AI industry pretty lately, and currently I've been working on my startup Minus Zero, where we are building self-driving cars with level 5 autonomy in India. So I think that's pretty much it for my introduction. Yeah. And yeah, I've been a judge and a mentor at various developer events worldwide, and I've spoken at various conferences. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So can you tell us about Minus Zero, like how it started or it made you start a self-driving cars startup?
So yeah, basically, the concept of self-driving cars have had been in our mind from a really long time, and in May itself this year, we actually validated that idea from industry experts, and we got to know, okay, this thing can be worked out. And again, we had this idea to make India a global leader in technology. So yeah, that's why we started it up in India itself. To let's say that was basically to build the technology in India itself, a technology that the world can feel proud of if it happens in India. That's the thing. The just making India self-reliant and obviously innovation first. Yeah.
So, what do you think will be the major challenges of building a self-driving car startup in India as related or as compared to other developed nations?
The biggest challenge is that in India, anything can happen on road. You can't rely on the fact that people will follow rules or not. And really, you can't expect what will happen on road. People might just come out of nowhere on the road, right? There are animals and all. So, like the driving scenario, the traffic is quite unstructured in India. So that
Yes.
is the biggest challenge. You can't rely on the fact that people will follow rules, right? So that is the biggest challenge. And second is to build the faith of people in this technology so that they can embrace it properly. Yeah.
So basically, you are building a self-driving car. Will it have a steering wheel as well, or self-driving will be just an option in case of person doesn't want to drive himself?
Yeah, it will have basically a steering wheel so that a person can take over. You can't actually take away the craze of driving from people.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, it is particularly good when a person is who doesn't know to drive. Yeah, that would be really good. But yeah, the system is uh, made like that anytime the driver wants, he can take over.
Okay, so that's nice. So
Yeah.
when it will be launching, the launch date for your startup?
So we had a planned commercial launch in around 2023, mid 2023. That is our expected timeline, but let's see how things go on because there are a lot of things associated with it.
Yes, you're right.
So that only time will tell. That only time will tell.
Okay, so now we can just you can just tell about your self journey with before coming to college and what you did before.
So Like I have been a very avid reader since my childhood. Even on like I never played in my childhood. I never played video games and stuff. On every birthday, on every achievement, I would get some book or something to read. So yeah, that was the thing. I used to spend my time reading and writing and studying new things basically to find what all I loved basically. And that was how my childhood really went. I learned more from books I read outside the classroom. I learned more from the internet and books instead of from the classroom itself. And I think this was the greatest boon this age has given to us. The gift of internet, gift of books. Knowledge is all out there. You just have to find it. Yeah. And I also write a lot. I have got two books published in the market, and a third one is coming up in Jan 2021. So that keeps me calm and stable in this my scientific pursuit of innovation. Yeah.
So, how did you come to Thapar, or you had a love for engineering from before as well, or what were your dream institutions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like as everybody has this thing in mind, like in class, let's say eighth or ninth, I was pretty confused. Okay, should I go into research? Should I go into engineering? And also, I had to try to choose between my two major things. That was love for science and love for literature. So this was a confusion that had been going on in my mind for a long time. And if I would be very honest, I actually never dreamed of going into IIT because
Okay.
I also believe the s- the institution is not a deciding factor in what you will be doing. You can always do it no matter where you are. So I had this like I ended up filling the form of JE at the last moment on the last date, and without any preparation, I just got out of my bed and went to give the JE exam. So I think based on what the way I studied compared to people who take intensive coaching and all, I think I did pretty well. And Thapar has really a good environment in sense of friends, social circle, and all. So yeah, ended up choosing it because as I say before, everything you gonna learn, it is always from what you actually practice outside the classroom. So yeah, this is not a very major factor for me for my life. Yeah.
You were also selected in Oxford University, I heard.
Yeah, that was particularly for literature. Class 12th, I had
Right.
okay. I was really amazed because in India, engineering had become a stereotype. Most of the students were like totally in India. Most of the engineering people do engineering for just get a job into some good company or something else. So I was really I was confused that I didn't want to choose that lifestyle. So I ended up applying to various colleges for literature only. But then obviously you need a job security also. So the plan suddenly changed in the end, and I ended up doing engineering. But yeah, I loved the engineering to the core from my very childhood, but I was not willing to get stuck in that chain basically in the rat race that our country is doing. Everybody's doing engineering. There are more engineers out there without anyone actually doing what engineering stands for: innovation, building something that can actually put leader India out there into the world. Yeah.
And your startup, basically minus zero, has a lot of things related to machine learning, artificial intelligence, and
Yeah.
deep learning. So how did you learn that? Because in college course, these things aren't really taught.
As I would say, internet is the greatest teacher you will ever get. There are lot of resources on the internet. We just have to use it in the right way. So instead of scrolling through Facebook and social media all the time, I chose to spend that time actually learning new things, keeping up with various news blogs and all. And then obviously for I started my journey into AI with Andrew Ng's course. That is, my Andrew Ng is normally called the let's say the HC Verma. It is an analogy, like HC Verma is for physics. That is what uh, Andrew Ng is for deep learning. So basically, I started with that, and slowly my interest got deep rooted into that, and I got hardcore into this subject. So by the end of first year, I was already decided that I have to go into this very field instead of software engineering. Yeah.
Okay, so if any first year wants to learn these subjects, what he or she should do? Should he take courses from online like platforms of Udemy or Coursera, or should he read books or etc.? What do you think?
Uh, I would really say it depends on your learning style basically. I'm more comfortable in learning from books or by reading, but there are people who prefer video lectures and all. So it all depends on how you want to learn. But mostly people start their AI journey from Andrew Ng's course. But yeah, in the end, by the end, you have to, since this is an evolving field, you have to depend on reading new research papers and studying code and all. So that is very important because the courses, whatever course you take, no matter whether it's Udemy, Coursera, or certain book, they will just teach you the very basics. If you want to be really good in that field, it all depends on how much extra you try to learn about that.
And are there any value of the certificates that they provide after a course?
They are valuable if you know how to apply the knowledge you learned in them in real life, right? Because if you do not know where to actually apply that knowledge, there is no use of learning. So that is the thing. So certificates can always add credibility to your profile only and only if you actually know that stuff. But adding and if you want to do certificate, do something that let's say if you're doing it on Coursera, I would really recommend that if you want to put certificates on your resume, they should be of a whole specialization instead of individual course certificate, so that actually a course of a specialization certificate of around 4 or 5 courses together, that actually shows that okay, you have studied the subject to a certain depth. But individual course certificates, posting like 30 40 course certificates on LinkedIn, that is not at all valuable. But if do only the things that are relevant to what you want to do in your life. Okay, if you want to let's say go into, let's say, AI, then putting certificates of ethical hacking and all these on your LinkedIn or resume won't do any good, because everybody wants a master of one subject. You can't be, there's no use of being jack of all trades, right?
Yes, totally agree. And who was your idol in all these things? I think subjects. We all have an idol.
uh, my inspiration always was a future self, I would say. I would imagine,
Okay.
okay, where I want to be 1 year from now, and the place where I want to be 1 year from now, that was how I knew I should do currently. But apart from that, everyone has a personal inspiration also. So in that, I was really inspired by Elon Musk, the way he's doing all the things. So yeah, he is a really good inspiration.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's nice. And how Thapar helped you in starting your startup and getting all the fundings required, or any other technical help you got from the university, or how people at Thapar basically helped you in starting your startup?
You get all kinds of people everywhere. There were
Yes.
people who tried to push me back. There were people who pushed me forward. So it's been a mixed variety of people. There were people who felt jealous also, and there were people who looked up to me. So the thing was, but everyone, no matter whoever that person is, everyone teaches you something or other. So, whether it's a scientific, let's say, concept or a certain value, everything that happens in your life teaches you something or other. So that was it. The even the people who I would say tried to push me back, they also somehow taught me some or other thing. So yeah, that is the thing.
Okay, so if a student have an idea and he or she wants to start a startup, being a Thapar student, how should he approach and whom to go in order to start?
You can't. This is actually a tricky question. You do not go to somebody, right?
Okay,
You first step is validating your idea. Are you really confident about it that you would be able to do it? If you would be able to do it, plan how you are going to do it, and then find people who can. If it's like if you need, if let's say if it's a group project, let's say self-driving car, one person can't do it. So you find the people who align with your vision, who actually want same thing that you want in your life, and collaborate with them. So that is the thing. And then obviously there always are teachers and people to mentor, but uh, those things are just superficial. It all depends on how you are going to start it. It ends up everything rests on you. Just to remember that thing in your life. If you have an idea, then it's your idea, and you have to do it no matter what it takes. So you can't depend on someone else that okay, if I go to that person, it will be done, or the if I go to this person, it will be done. That is not the case. You have to be confident in itself because people will come, people will go, but the only pillar standing will be you.
so that was just really good thing you just told. So I think we can just wind up. You just told everything you know, and I was it was really helpful for me today and for everyone else seeing this.
Yeah,
So thank you very much for joining in today, and it's my pleasure to have you today.
likewise, likewise. It was really great talking to you.
So thank you very much.